I'm going to talk to you today about the Magpul MS1 Sling. Now traditionally, I've always been very skeptical of slings. In theory, I love the concept. I think it's important. Sometimes you need to get your hands off the weapon. But in practice, I find that there is a significant problem with all the slings I've tried, which is that when you're transitioning from an offhanded carry position or an over-the-back carry position, there's a tendency for the sling to get caught up in itself or your gear and to present a possible point of failure. For this reason, I often just don't use slings, and I just suck it up, and I have this annoying thing in my hand that I can never get rid of. Now, my opinion of slings changed completely when I got this sling, the Magpul MS1, because it is so much easier to transition from a hands-off position directly to a firing position. Now, I'm going to show you the sling in action and a couple different ways to use the sling so that you can get the most out of it. I think it's really important to go through the modes of carry and how you're going to transition between them before the shit hits the fan, so that you're ready for it when you need to use these skills, and that they're fluid and you don't get any hiccups. So I'm going to start by showing you the way it was demonstrated by Magpul employees at SHOT Show. So as a right-handed shooter, I have the sling over my right shoulder, and it's cinched up. So if I want to go to the firing position, I'm going to uncinch it, then raise it up, and now I can shoot. Now there's basically 5 different modes of carry that you have to consider. Obviously the shooting position, then there's the shouldered position, which is about ready to shoot, you're looking for a target. Then there's the, let's say, patrol position. So you're walking around, you've got your gun, and you don't have it up to your shoulder yet, but you're ready. Finally, there's a hands-off position. That's like when you want to just let go of your gun. So I'm going to cinch it up for that. Oh, and finally there's the over-the-shoulder hands-off position. So there's a couple of different ways that I could transition to over-the-shoulder. I can either rotate it like that with a barrel up, or yeah, I guess that's pretty much the only way it's actually going to go with the sling over my shoulder this way. Now let's evaluate how good the sling actually functions in these positions. So first thing I'll notice is that, well, from the over-the-shoulder position to ready the weapon, I first move it around, grab it, then I have to cinch the sling. Now this is a little bit awkward because I have to, although the slider works great, no resistance there, and that is the genius of the MS1 Sling. In order to cinch it up, I have to go under my armpit, and that's an awkward motion. And in a moment of tension, it's unlikely that I would get it all the way back up, which means that I would have some restricted motion. So perhaps I only went that far because I was just trying to get it moved up quickly. You'll notice the sling now is taut here, and it's restricting my range of motion. Even if I get it all the way up, which, see, I was fumbling around. It's hard to move this slider when it's outside of your vision. Okay, so it's all the way up now. I have more range of motion, but it still does catch at some point, which means I'm going to have to use my upper torso if I want to turn over that way, and that's going to slow me down a little bit. So I don't like that. I also don't like, this going up underneath the armpit to grab it. Now, with that said, I can probably do a little better, once you practice. It's not really that slow. It's not bad, actually, but it's awkward, and I think there's potential for failure there. Now let's talk about hands-off position in the front of the gun. Now I'd like it to rest like this, ideally, because it's easy for me to grab this here. But that's not how it's going to rest because I've got my sling attached to the underside of the crane stock here, which is pretty typical. And probably even more so because I have it mounted to the underside of the front foregrip. I could somewhat mitigate this if I wrap the sling around this position here, but most guys don't like to do that, and I don't really like to do that in particular because it's going to have a... I won't be able to take the sling off if I want to. I'm a fan of quick release, and this particular gun doesn't have quick release on it, but my primary would normally. So if I'm hands off in the front, I'm going to be carrying the gun like this. And the nice thing about it is it's not like, you know, protruding out too much to the side. It's pretty well secured. If I want to do stuff with my hands, that's possible. So to bring this up, first thing, I'm going to have to get my hand into the grip here. That's a little bit awkward because I have to kind of like torque my wrist around. And then I have to slide this up my armpit and then bring it up. Now with that said, it can be done pretty quickly. So it's just like, so not bad, but a little bit awkward. So basically I have 3 complaints. One, one, have to go up under my armpit. 2, have to torque my wrist. And 3, potentially have limited motion when I'm moving it. So let me show you another way of carrying the sling, which I think is better. So as a right-handed shooter, I'm going to put the sling over my left shoulder and under my right armpit. Now as a hands-off carry, I'm going to carry it just like this. Major difference from the other way is that in hands-off carry, I prefer to have it uncinched. And what that means is that if I want to go directly to the firing position, I don't have to uncinch it. Okay, so I could just be hanging out, shooting the shit, all of a sudden, I'm up, and I'm on target. So I like that. Another thing is that when I have the shoulder position, I have absolutely no restriction by the sling. I can whip it around as much as I need to, and the sling is not getting in my way. Now I may choose to hold the sling against the front grip just to like take a little of that slack out of the way, but I don't have to. It's entirely optional. And lastly, let's talk about the over the back position. So I'm going to cinch it up and then put it over my back. Now, big difference here is I now have the muzzle going down, which you may or may not like, but I like it a lot because when I want to ready the weapon, it's faster. So I literally just pull it around, the cinch is right here, I didn't have to go under my armpit at all, and now I can bring it up. So there's 5 modes of carry that you have to be concerned about: shooting, shouldered, patrolling, and hands off, and then finally shouldered. And I think it's a good exercise to practice transitioning between those in a realistic order, so that when the shit hits the fan, you're ready to go and you don't have any hiccups. So if I've got it over my shoulder, I was just climbing up a ladder, let's say, and now I want to get, I see a target and I want to engage, pretty fast. So shooting, shouldered, patrolling, hands off, shouldered, shooting, shouldered, patrolling, hands off, shouldered. Alright, that's it. Hope you like this. Hope you found some useful tricks. Oh, one more thing before I'll go. I'll just talk about how to attach the sling itself. So the key thing is that you want the sliding part to go in the front, obviously. You don't want any twists. You want it to be, no twists when it hangs this way. And the sling, it comes with this flap here is going to be out of these 2 loops. So the first thing you're going to have to do is put the sling through your attachment loop, which in my case was the gun itself, but in a lot of cases could be, a QD sling swivel. So I could just put it, if I had a quick detach thing, I would just sling it through there, then back through itself, and then this second one here is just to prevent you from having too much slack, because you don't want to have this thing flopping all this long empty extra cord flopping all over the place. So this is an adjustment that you can do on the sling, a static adjustment. This is based on your body size. The remaining adjustment is all in this quick thing here. So you would never adjust these on during live action. And then secondly, on this side, you're going to want to, again, put it through a loop, which in my case here was the gun itself, but could be, your quick detach loop or any other type of attachment that you prefer, and then double back through to hold it on. So, that's it. Hope you enjoy.